that we have 45,000 different styles of division. And we're getting to a point where God is saying, you got to grow up and understand what it really means to be a priest of God and see things the way that I see it. Stop being children, start coming into maturity, and you will have my favor on you when you do. Amen? But as long as there's divisions and all these other things, and today, since I'm talking about communion, and we can get away from a very low understanding and elevate our understanding of communion, I think we can trigger things like healing, deliverance, restoration, just some powerful stuff, because we're not looking at it as trivial things anymore. The revelation that God gives us grounds something that we should believe. If we're just believing in the air, and here's where most people's belief is. I believe that when I take this bread and I take this wine and I drink it, I've done a church tradition, which is a good thing. God bless the church. And it stops there. I've satisfied a tradition. We've not dug into what was God trying to teach all the way through that stuff 1,500 years before Jesus, showing the Exodus out and the showbread and the manna and the bread always needing before the Lord and the things that happen. And God saying, I'm not going to put the diseases on you that I brought upon the Egyptians, and healing and health. And there's power in what he's showing us, because the representation was the body of Jesus. And we understand by looking at things in other places like Isaiah, himself took our infirmities and our sicknesses, that by his stripes we are healed. We read things in the Old Testament that says that God is our healer. So here in the communion, here in what Jesus gave the apostles, told them, I'm taking the representation of everything you've had that has spoken of my characteristics, spoken of my ability, spoken of my plans, and I'm presenting before you in this meal, I am who all that was about. So when you take communion, as often as you do this in remembrance of me. Because if you don't do this in remembrance of everything that I went through and everything that this means, you will trivialize the communion, and you'll come to take communion being upset with people and stuff is off in your life. And I told you that when you come to do this, this is a sacrament. This is sacred. Make sure you examine yourself, that before you partake of this, that you've just cleaned yourself of any kind of problem, sin, trespass, iniquity. Just make sure it's all gone, because if you approach this, that everything written was leading up to my death, burial, and resurrection, and you eat this with a mindset that is incompatible with mine, what was supposed to be a blessing for you is now a curse.